How's it going, everyone? The PlayStation Store's holiday sale has refreshed with new deals being added, and I am here to take a look at the best deals under the price of $5. We will once again do updates for, the majority of price thresholds, as much as I can do. There's a lot of stuff under $5, so let's get right into it, and all of these deals do end on January the 18th, so jump on them as soon as possible. I mean, you still got 2 weeks, and guess what? These games are going to go on sale again in probably like a couple of months at most for most of these titles. But now, before we get into this video, I just want to ask you guys, please like this video and do leave a comment with your thoughts. It really does help out the channel a lot, and it is much appreciated. Let's get right into it. Let's start things off with Dishonored, the Definitive Edition, 75% off for $4.99. This includes Dishonored and the DLC. I love Dishonored 1. I thought it was a fantastic game, and employed a really unique art style that I feel like has aged fairly well. The gameplay, I think, is enjoyable. Action stealth game. If you want to go, like, action heavy, you can do that, but I feel like most people would agree that Dishonored is more rewarding when you do go more of a silent and stealthy approach, and it's still a lot of fun. Great art style, great atmosphere, pretty solid story for $4.99. I think that's a pretty good deal, and I would certainly give it a recommendation. Next up, we have A Way Out, 85% off for $4.49. A Hazelight title. Hazelight has obviously created kind of a cool, like, little area for themselves in the gaming world where they do develop these co-op only titles, and they end up working out really well. And I thought A Way Out was a really well done game. A little bit on the shorter side, and again, co-op only, but a really good story. A lot of twists and turns. I like the art style in this one as well. And for sub $5, I think it's a pretty solid pickup. If you got a friend to play it with, obviously, that is necessary, and you're going to enjoy it quite a bit if you're looking for a co-op title. Next up, Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, 80% off for $3.99. Now, I know what you guys are going to say. Isn't there a remake for this game coming out at the end of next month? Yeah, I don't think a lot of people actually asked for a remake of Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, but hey, if it gives more attention to a great game, more power to it. We don't know what the price point is going to be for the remake. At least I don't think we do. I imagine it's going to be at least $30, which, like, I feel like $30 is a little bit of a push, and that's like me being cheap as all hell, but like nonetheless, you have the original here for $3.99. Go buy it and play through it. Once the remake drops in price, you can pick that up too. You'll get separate sets of trophies if you're into that, but Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons tells a very heart-wrenching and emotional story, and a very, very gripping game from a narrative standpoint. $3.99 I think is a great price. It's a super short game, but worthwhile to go through, and I would definitely give it a recommendation at this price point. Next up, we got Batman Return to Arkham. You got Batman Arkham Asylum and Batman Arkham City, the real golden age of Rocksteady games. I mean, Rocksteady's about to put out Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which, if you guys follow this channel, I am very, very skeptical on. Not only is that game $70, which is fine at this stage of the game, like $70 games are fine. I don't think that's too big of a deal. But it's a $70 game with battle passes, and they're doing the early access gimmick for, buy the digital deluxe edition, and you'll get to play the game 3 days early or whatever. So it's like the trifecta of nonsense. The $70 thing, don't have a problem with the other two elements. Yeah, I do have a problem with those. But nonetheless, back to Batman Return to Arkham. You got Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, and to me, Arkham Asylum was the game that showed to me personally, and I know for a lot of other people, but I can talk about from a personal standpoint, that superhero games can in fact be great. I'm not big into superheroes or Marvel or DC or anything like that, but man, I remember heading into the release of Arkham Asylum, and I'm like, here we go, another mediocre licensed game. And then Arkham Asylum came out, and I played it. Keep in mind, I was super young at this point, and I wasn't familiar with studios, and Rocksteady wasn't really known prior to the release of Arkham Asylum, but Arkham Asylum came out, and it was a phenomenal game. Great combat, a great story, a good world to explore. Like, Arkham Asylum is more contained, but still, it's got a decent bit to do. And then Arkham City, I thought, was even better than Arkham Asylum. Arkham City is my favorite of the 3 Arkham games, and I thought that game was just fantastic. A full open world, a great story, great combat as well. $4.99 for a Return to Arkham is just fantastic. I gotta do another playthrough of the Arkham trilogy here at some point, but yeah, my plate is so full with the games I'm playing that that probably won't be gone to in a while, but definitely at some point I'll do another playthrough. But if you've never played them, or you played them on the PS3 and you want to revisit them, $4.99 for these games is a steal. Next up, we got Burnout Paradise Remastered, 75% off for $4.99. Now, I picked this game up back when it came out in January of 2008. Wild to think about that it has been 16 years since Burnout Paradise initially came out, but yeah, time goes by. Great arcade racer. Does it show its age? Absolutely. There's some archaic game design elements in here, but there's a good bit to do with an open world, and the soundtrack is awesome. Like, licensed music is always going to be a little bit subjective, but when you got songs like Kill Switch Engage's My Curse, I'm going to be down with that. That type of music right up my alley. So Burnout Paradise obviously was a game that I personally enjoyed for $4.99. Great deal here, and if you're looking for a fun arcade racer that you could just kill some time with, Burnout Paradise I think is a pretty damn good option. Next up, Shenmue I II, 84% off for $4.49. Now, Shenmue is absolutely iconic, and they tell very good stories. Let's be real, though. Shenmue was a game that when it came out back on the Dreamcast, it was ahead of its time. It pushed the envelope in a lot of ways. Nowadays, in the year of 2024, going back and playing Shenmue, you're not going to be blown away from a technical standpoint, and those elements aren't really going to sell you on the game, but they still tell good narratives, and at the end of the day, Shenmue is such an iconic game that I feel like people should play through Shenmue 1 and 2. At this price point of sub $5, it's pretty good. Unfortunate what happened with Shenmue 3, but you know, what can you do? Sometimes these things happen in the gaming world. Next up, we got Dragon Age Inquisition Deluxe Edition, 80% off for $3.99. I think this is a great deal, and to me, this was the last truly great game from BioWare. BioWare is a studio like so many other studios that I really look at the late 2000s and early 2010s as their absolute peak, and might be a little controversial. I see Naughty Dog that way as well, but, you know, we'll see how both of these studios bounce back, and in the case of Naughty Dog, they really don't even need to bounce back. That's just a personal opinion of mine. That might be a hot take, but BioWare certainly needs to bounce back, and Dragon Age Dreadwolf will hopefully come out, I don't know, maybe fall of this year, early next year, we'll see. But Inquisition turned out to be a really good game. Visually still holds up nicely, and this was a cross-gen game on PlayStation 3 as well. A lot of content, pretty good story, and yeah, for $3.99, a solid pickup there. Next up, we got Vanishing of Ethan Carter, 80% off for $3.99. This is one of those sleeper games that I seem to go to bat for all the time. Great atmosphere, more of a walking sim, narrative-driven title, but really, really engrossing from a story and atmosphere standpoint. It's light on any kind of action gameplay or anything like that, but for $3.99, I think it's a pretty good pickup and pretty unique in what it's trying to go for, so would check it out. Guacamelee 2, 75% off for $4.99. Guacamelee is a Metroidvania that I seem to always recommend as well. Great art style, good bit of comedy, and a little bit over the top. I thought Guacamelee turned out to be really good, but what I always say is the Metroidvania market is so competitive that even if you put out good games, there's a lot of great Metroidvanias out there that just don't get a lot of attention because the market is so full of high quality and high level games in this genre that even a Guacamelee, it's hard to resonate. But Guacamelee turned out to be good. If you're looking for a charming Metroidvania and an accessible game, and a fairly accessible game, $4.99 for Guacamelee 2 I think is pretty good. Next up, we got LUMINES Remastered, 70% off for $4.49. I initially played this on the PSP, and man, this was such an addicting puzzle game. If you want a puzzle game with a great presentation style, a pretty good soundtrack, LUMINES is a pretty damn good one to get into. It's done by Enhance, and they do great work in terms of these style of games, and LUMINES Remastered just was a really, really solid puzzle game that you could just kick back and have a pretty good time with. And the visual effects to the game are great. $4.49 again, good pickup there. Next up, we got Yakuza Kiwami and Kiwami 2. These are $4.99 a pop. Now, the RPG games I'm always going to recommend, and I'm always going to say they are games everybody should play. The real issue with getting into these games is the daunting process of playing all of these games. Yes, it's very easy to say, yo, get into the games, go play Yakuza 0. Well, the story don't end at Yakuza 0. Yakuza 0 is a fine experience as its own right, but then you have Yakuza Kiwami, which is a remake of Yakuza 1, and you have Kiwami 2, which is a remake of Yakuza 2. Both of these titles absolutely worthwhile to play. Obviously, play Yakuza 0 first, and then jump into Kiwami and Kiwami 2. Then you do have Yakuza 3, 4, 5, and 6 to go through as well. With 3, 4, and 5, and 6, it seems like those are the titles that people really do fall off with. Kiwami and Kiwami 2 are titles that, you know, a lot of RGG fans and Yakuza fans, I feel like, go through. It's like getting to 3, 4, 5, and 6, and those games aren't bad. It's just, it's a daunting process to go through all of them. I'll always be of the mindset I think Judgment is the best game to play if you want to get into the RGG titles, just because of its accessibility, English voice acting, better visuals, and all that good stuff. But, you know, you guys can have your own opinion with that. Yakuza Kiwami and Kiwami 2 are great, and obviously for sub $5, a great pickup there. And lastly, we got Doom 2016, no-brainer there. Over-the-top first-person shooter, absolutely visceral, bloody, gory, and just a lot of fun. Great soundtrack as well. At this point, I recommend Doom 2016 and Eternal from a single-player standpoint, so keep that in mind. But yeah, for sub $5, this is a great deal as well. Unfortunate that probably the next Doom title, if they are going to do it, if it's going to do it, which I imagine they will, won't be on PlayStation 5. But, you know, that's the reality. What Microsoft is going to own Bethesda. That's ultimately going to be the world we live in. But that is going to do it for me. Again, I know some people are down on the refresh and the deals added. There's always some good stuff to pick up, and I know, and I'm always going to say this, a little bit of a retread across a lot of these deals, but there's always going to be a few people that don't own these titles, and yeah, there's some good stuff certainly to check out and pick up. But that'll do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.